going to an HBCU has had such a profound impact on who I am as a woman and as a journalist. And it's not an experience that can be duplicated anywhere else.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Class is in Session. I'm your host, Ashley Stevens, and this show focuses on all the things happening with HBCUs, inside the classrooms, the business side of HBCU sports. We also shine a light on HBCU alum who are making major moves in business, sports, education, the arts, and entertainment. Super excited for today's guest, y'all. She is breaking barriers, making history, Floyd. She's the first woman in HBCU history to be a play-by-play football announcer, and she's also an HBCU alumna. Hello and welcome, Ty.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
I'm super excited to have you. You know, when I was seeing the news go across social media, I was like, I am so proud of this young sister. Rocking the microphone at football games. That's such a big deal. So first, tell us, Ty, where did you grow up and how was football introduced to your life?
I grew up in Florida. My dad, he played in the National Football League for about 8 years. So that's how I got my introduction to football. And then growing up, I have two brothers, one older, one younger, and they played football. So football has just been a part of my life, a part of my upbringing. And I started to really develop a love for it myself. I mean, to the point where it would really affect my mood when my teams would lose or have their struggles. But I went to Florida A&M where I decided to matriculate and got deeply involved in the HBCU football culture. And that's really where I got my introduction.
Love to hear it. So from family to FAMU to football. Ty, why did you decide to choose an HBCU and what did you earn your degree in?
So when I graduated from high school, I decided to go to Florida A&M where I got my bachelor's science in broadcast journalism. And I chose Florida A&M and M, and I chose to get my degree in journalism because I just knew that I wanted to be involved in sports in some capacity. And for me, I really wanted to be in the game. And so that's where I decided to choose journalism. And the FAMU School of Journalism and Graphic Communication is such an amazing program. I mean, we have some heavy hitters in our program like Pam Oliver, Tiffany Green, to even people like Germany Bozeman and Hannah Kirby who are just about to leave the School of Journalism. So it's a very great program, has so much rigor, but it helps prepare the alums for life after college. And then Alabama A&M really chose me. Alabama A&M extended me the opportunity to come here as a graduate assistant and to really, work on my career and all of my career goals, such as this role that I'm stepping into now. And there's no place that I would have rather matriculated. So I'm very grateful that I chose an HBCU.
Tell us a little bit more about Alabama A&M. They chose you. Tell us about your graduate assistantship and what you're earning your master's degree in.
Yeah, so because I have so much experience just working in the HBCU space, it's where I've been working ever since I graduated. I've been able to make so many different relationships, especially as Florida A&M moved to the SWAC in 2021. And I met Coach Jason Mai, and I remember texting him in jest one day, just saying, like, if you want to diversify your staff and add me as a GA, I'd love to come up there to go to school. And I didn't really take it seriously, the fact that I said it. And when he responded, it was just kind of like LOL, like it wasn't really a thorough answer until a week later I get a call and he's like, yeah, AD Bryant, he loves you. He remembers you. He would love for you to come up here and do all these different responsibilities. And I was like, oh, okay. And I sat on it for a while. And I mean, I just, was back at home working like two, three jobs, trying to make this dream happen. And I really felt like this was my opportunity to, really be in my career, have the space and capacity to focus on myself. And so I enrolled here and I'm getting my master's in communications media. And from there, I'll be able to use my degree to do a lot of different things in my career field, obviously, but also teach, which I'm really excited to hopefully do one day.
Teaching, that's really interesting. I want to get into that, but I want to backtrack to say, look at the power of asking. Did you realize at the time you said you didn't really take it that seriously, but now do you look back and see the value in really asking for what you want and going after what you want and seeing how the door opened for you?
Yeah, I mean, I tell people all the time that where I am right now and the things that I've done really is on the other side of an email. My relationship with the Celebration Bowl was because I sent an email, and that's a 4-year relationship. The Florida Classic was just because I sent out an email. The inaugural HBCU Women's All-Star Game was because I sent out an email. So you really just have to, or the CIAA, my relationship with them, an email. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of power in asking.
Awesome. And so, for all of those roles that you just mentioned, were you the play by play announcer at each of those games and events?
Not for the Florida Classic and the Celebration Bowl. I do a lot more digital work, a lot more player focused work. For the Florida Classic, I have done hosting of the game, on field host and maybe some digital stuff. But I've done play by play for the inaugural women's HBCU All Star Game, the CIAA basketball tournament, which is really who gave me my start in play by play. And obviously now here at Alabama A&M.
That's so exciting. This is super exciting, Ty. It sounds like you are not new to this. You are true to this. So tell us about, you mentioned a dream. When did this dream to be a play by play announcer or an on field host or working in sports media in general, when did this dream come about?
I would say when I was graduating high school, I had a teacher who really believed in me, Tim Blazik, and he really just would go out of his way to come to basketball games or school games with me so I could do sideline reporting and learn how to make a package and be able to send all of that to Florida A&M. And I knew that that was kind of where I wanted to be at senior year of high school. I was deciding whether I wanted to go into medicine or whether I wanted to be in the world of sports media. Ultimately chose sports media. But as a little kid, I would go with my dad to the Universal Studios where he was on a show on Sun Sports, which is now Fox Sports 1, and I would go with him and sit in the studio with him and watch him work, and it was something that was really a seed planted in me at the time, and now, it has turned into all of this. So I'm very grateful for all of those times. But I would say ever since I was, pretty young, I knew this is something I would have wanted to do. Play by play came a little bit later on. I would say I didn't really want to do play by play, and even at times where I was kind of pushed into it by my mentor, Tiffany Green, I'd be like, I don't know, Tiffany. I don't know. I don't think maybe not me." And she was like, "No, you should do it." And so I finally got my first swing at it, and I was like, "Oh, wow. Like, I really like this. I want to do it. I want to do it now." So I would say that play by play dream really happened as of recently.
Awesome. Tell us about your mentor. How did you develop that relationship? And tell us also who inspires you in the world of sports broadcasting.
Tiffany and I met when I was in high school. She was doing a story on one of my friends, and I just happened to be at my friend's house that day. And it was such a blessed encounter because after that, Tiffany and I remained close, and when I went to Florida A&M, we were able to reconnect again, and ever since then, she's kind of had her hand on me, guiding me, very interested in my journey and making sure that, I'm able to get to where I want to be in this career, and, she's had a huge, profound impact on my life, as well as Laura Oakman. I'm a part of her organization of women in sports. She is the newly retired, but she was the third longest tenured reporter for NFL on Fox. Pam Oliver goes without saying her impact, not just for me, but women in the industry as a whole. And then also women like Tiffany Blackman, Larisha Harris, Larisha Harris being a alum of Bethune-Cookman. So being able to see someone who came from an HBCU have this beautiful, amazing, big success really is a huge motivator. So those are just some women who have really touched me on this journey and who have poured into me a lot.
Love to hear how there are other women who have helped you to lift you up to where you are. I think that's very important and very telling that there are women along the way who wanted to see you win. We're here at Classes in Session talking with Ty Floyd. She will be a play-by-play announcer this fall for Alabama A&M. You are breaking barriers, Ty. Did you realize that you are becoming the first woman in HBCU sports to call play-by-play football? Did you realize that when this announcement came out?
No, I didn't really think that the announcement would be that big. I thought it would be something like, kind of school and HBCU wide. I felt like people from Florida A&M would be supportive because it's me and, I've been in the space for a long time, but it kind of kept growing and taking a life of its own. And next thing you know, it was national news and Awful Announcing was posting me. And it was just kind of this thing where it again, it started to take a life of its own and really grow, and so I was super shocked, and I was just like, "Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy for this to just blow up in this way." But I mean, it's a lot of weight being the first, and not I think for the reason being, I just wanna do exceedingly well, especially now that there is so much eyes on me and people are looking. I want people to know that, there are some great people, great talent that comes from historically Black colleges and universities to take a look at us. And so I know that people are watching me because of that. Know that a lot of articles have mentioned my father, so people are watching me because of that. I know that because I'm the first, people are watching me because of that. And so I feel definitely a little bit of a weight and pressure to just do exceedingly well, but not nervous in my capabilities at all. Just want to make sure that HBCUs, women in sports, my mentors, my family, feels well represented by me.
And Ty, I think what's interesting is I'm interested to know the level of mental compartmentalization that it may take to do what you do. I've long been a host and reporter, but thinking about calling something in real time where you have to pay attention to the details, the technicality, and be accurate when you're talking about it. Tell us a little bit about what you do as a play-by-play announcer and how you prepare for that role.
So, play by play is basically giving a depiction on what people can or cannot see, just depending on what medium you're on. So, when you're doing TV, you're giving them a description of what they can already see. Radio is a lot different. It's probably a little bit harder because you have to paint a picture of what people cannot see. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. I feel like when you have these broadcasts, it's a team effort, and there's a lot of people in there who really are working to help you succeed. It's not just me. It'll be Maurice, who is my color commentator. It'll also be Evan, who's a spotter. And he has a huge role in himself because he is also acting as the statistician. So there's a lot of different moving key parts and pieces that go into doing play by play. I think for me, my biggest thing is obviously to call the game accurately, and also to add the elements of storytelling because of my role as a graduate assistant. I spend a lot of times with the players and coaches. And so there's a lot of things that I'm able to talk about. So I think that is definitely going to play into my performance moving forward.
So, Ty, how can folks hear you calling play by play football games this season?
Absolutely. So I'll be on WJAB 90.9 FM. That is Alabama A&M's flagship radio and TV news station. So you'll be able to hear me if you download the TuneIn app, for example. Allows you to listen to radio all across the country. So that's where you'll be able to hear me on Saturdays.
Now, when do you complete your degree at Alabama A&M?
So I will complete my degree. I've actually moved at a fast pace. I wasn't really trying to, but I will complete my degree in December.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Awesome. So the
Thank you.
football season and your graduation will be lining up around the same time. So what's next for you, Ty Floyd? What's next?
I mean, wherever God decides to take me, I am in no rush to do anything. The only thing that we're really guaranteed in life is death and taxes, right? So I'm just trying to make sure that I am on the path and stewarding these blessings well. But I mean, I definitely see myself being one of the greatest to do it in this career field. And I'm excited to finally have my shot to show everyone who I am and what I can do.
I love it. We're excited because you've got your shot. We will be watching, listening, and waiting as you will be one of the greatest to do this. We are here at Classes in Session with Ty Floyd. She'll be calling play-by-play football this fall for Alabama A&M, where she is a graduate student. She's also a two-time, this makes her a two-time HBCU alumna as well. Ty, listen, what are your words of advice for other young women in particular who are interested in sports media?
I would just say the biggest thing is to have thick skin. I mean, this industry is kind of a dog eat dog world, but also it's just the fact that social media allows people to have a platform. And so, just since this news has dropped last month, there have been some people who have said some crazy, heinous, insane things about me. Um, and it kind of just, it is what it is. Like, I'm not really too upset, but it's just, I've grown. I've grown and I've been in this industry for a long time and I've seen people say some crazy things about me even before I stepped into this role. So definitely developing thick skin and also just to have that confidence in yourself because this industry, like people are not going to give it to you. And then I would also say just to be prepared and to always go the extra mile in getting your materials.
Let's talk about that. In terms of being prepared, how do you prepare for a football game in advance of you having to call the play by play?
Yeah, absolutely. So when the depth chart gets released, I'll have a depth chart of both teams. I'll be able to flip back and forth. I also have some notes on each team. Every week there's a call with the respective conference, and you'll be able to hear all of the head coaches. And so I'll go in and ask questions, listen to the things that they say on this call, record it, go back. So I'll be able to supplement and add it to the broadcast. I'll DM players, text players, talk to players for our team and the opposing team just to continue to add to the broadcast, pull up statistics from the previous game from last season, really leave no stone unturned so that there's always something to talk about. We're encouraged to really focus on the time, the score, the down, and the distance as it pertains to play by play, but also adding in the other elements will definitely make the broadcast greater. So those are the type of things that you have to do in preparation for games.
This is so cool. And I love that you're so thorough, right? It's more like you said than just the time, the score, the distance. It's really adding color about who the players are, what the coaches have said leading up to the game. This is really interesting. And as someone, I don't follow football as closely, obviously, as you do. I'm so intrigued. Just as a media professional, I'm so intrigued by what you do and what you're doing. Because, like I said, I imagine it takes a lot of mental toughness to put all those elements together and still be on point in your delivery. And I'm curious, Ty, when you're watching football just for leisure, just for the sport of it, are you still thinking about what it would be like to call each of the plays? Or are you able to just kick back, relax, and enjoy a game without thinking about working?
I think it depends on where I am. If I'm at the game, in person, sometimes I think about it. Sometimes I like to immerse myself into the experience. But I do think that, like, when I'm watching it on TV, I listen to the different commentators and I think about how I would call it if it were me. I definitely take it all in because I am so new. I'm kind of like a sponge right now. So I love listening to all the different broadcasts. I try to do a lot more radio than I would television just because I'm on radio right now and there's a difference. But I really just enjoy it when it's my time to enjoy it. That's another thing I would tell younger people is to know when to turn it off. Never knew when to turn it off when I was younger. I would always kind of just be in that work mode and it's it's okay to be hungry and to grind and to have drive for what you want, but also I think it's important to make sure that you realize that, you have to have a healthy work-life balance. So, me personally now that I'm older, I know how to turn it off, and I do turn it off. So, it just depends.
Good. Good for you for making sure that you have clear boundaries to turn it off. Good for you. That's incredibly important. And listen, I know that you are all in for Alabama A&M. That's who you'll be calling games for. That's where you're earning your masters. But Ty, do you have any favorite HBCU college football teams in addition to A&M that you can share with our audience here at Classes in Session?
Florida A&M, of course. That's where I got my degree, so I always cheer for them. Now come November 15th, obviously, I'm rooting for the Bulldogs, but I do definitely, love Florida A&M and M and root for them. I root for Coach Colsey, who played with my dad at Florida State, and, is one of the uncles. So I definitely love them, and then also just all the relationships I've built. I mean, I say I love everyone. I mean, I definitely cheer for South Carolina State because I love Coach Barry, I love Coach O, I love Coach Lawrence, who came from Alabama A&M and is now there. I cheer for North Carolina Central. When I got my first big rep for the Celebration Bowl, they were in the game and they were just so loving, so caring. I've maintained those relationships with Davius Richard, Coach Oliver. So I cheer for North Carolina Central. I mean, I love Howard because of Coach Larry Scott and his son Jalen, who is at Florida A&M in the School of Journalism. I mean, like the list can really go on and so I cheer for everyone except when they play Alabama A&M.
That's the correct response. I love that. Listen, I've got on my Alabama A&M colors, but South Carolina
Yeah.
State, I'm an official ambassador for the university. They might be upset because I can also say these are my SC State colors as well. I just need the blue to go with it. So that's awesome. I love that you have such an in-depth knowledge of the sport, of the teams, of the game. Ty, tell us lastly, how did your HBCU, how did both of your HBCUs prepare you for what you are doing today?
I fully believe that going to an HBCU has had such a profound impact on who I am as a woman and as a journalist, and it's not an experience that can be duplicated anywhere else. Growing up, I lived in predominantly white neighborhoods. I went to predominantly white schools, and I always felt like if I had the opportunity to choose where I want to go, where I want to be at, it's going to be an HBCU. It's going to be somewhere where I can see people who look like me daily and get a taste of what it's like to not be a minority, even if it's only for 4 years. And just to know the amount of rigor that's in our courses, the professors that care about you and love you like they're your own, to your classmates who come from all different socioeconomic backgrounds, countries, it definitely adds to who you are as a person. And there's no other place I would have rather continued my education 2 times. So I'm very grateful for my experience here um, on both of the hills, and I can't wait to hopefully be a professor at an HBCU someday, continuing to pour into the younger students as I've been poured into, in addition to my sports career.
Love to hear it. Love to hear how your HBCUs, both of them, prepared you for curriculum both inside and outside the classroom. And wanted to end on this, the teaching piece. You have a desire to teach. Tell us about that.
I've always wanted to be a teacher. Growing up, I wanted to be an art teacher, and my dad was like, "I just want you to think about it. Like, I want you to think about, your life." And he wasn't discouraging me, but he was just kind of telling me there's more ways to do it. And I'm glad that I listened to him because he was right. I mean, to be able to possibly be a professor somewhere, still be able to do my full-time career is such an awesome opportunity. But I just love reaching out to or having young ones reach out to me and talk to me about their career and what they want and how I can help them. And so I would love to be able to utilize my resources, my connections and teach a bunch of students, especially because I have friends who play in the National Football League. And that can be something where my students can interview them. Let's say, for example, my students can interview these guys and have something to put on their resume reel that they just got out of being in my class. So there's a lot of ideas and things that I have. I hope that maybe an HBCU hears this and it's like, yeah, we would love to have you when you graduate and when your degree is conferred, but I will be doing some co-teaching of the sports journalism class here at Alabama A&M, so I'm really excited for that.
Super excited. And you know what? You're going to continue to enlighten young minds, uplift young people. You being in the position that you're in, people just seeing you and hearing you is going to be inspiration to a lot of folks and a lot of young people in sports media. So I'm so excited for you and what you're doing and what you are yet to do. I genuinely am so excited for you, Ty.
Thanks so much, and I really, really appreciate your time and for you having me today.
Absolutely. We are super excited to have you. And again, we are here at Class is in Session with Ty Floyd. She's a play by play announcer, the first woman to do so for HBCU sports. She's at Alabama A&M, where she's also pursuing her master's degree. She's a FAMU alumna and she's been super helpful in sharing with us how her HBCU experience prepared her for the role that she has now in sports broadcast journalism. Ty, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Class is in session.
Class is indeed in session. And listen, for all of those watching, again, be sure to stay posted for the latest and greatest on Black Enterprise's social media channels and on our website, blackenterprise.com. Stay tuned as we're always going to keep you up to date on what's happening with Ty. You can find her on social media. She's really doing some big and exciting things there. And for our HBCUs, we only have a few weeks left for you to register for the Black Enterprise Be Smart Hackathon presented by American Airlines. It takes place November 5th through the 8th in Charlotte. All expenses are covered. Airfare, travel, meals. These are for computer science and computer engineering juniors and seniors from the nation's HBCUs. We want to help you get jobs in tech. So again, November 5th through the 8th in Charlotte. Registration closes September 15th. So you've got a few more weeks to register and get your teams involved. You can learn more at blackenterprise.com/hackathon, blackenterprise.com/hackathon. Again, we've enjoyed having Ty Floyd here with us. I'm Ashley Stevens, and for this episode of Classes in Session, class is dismissed.
I am doubly honored to receive the Earl Graves Senior Vanguard Award, named after Bee's founder. Mr. Graves was always a guiding light for me and many others. He always had advice, a kind word, and even a playful jab for me.
Coming here lifts my spirits because I know that no matter what happens around us, I think we have a chance to do some great things.
Networking is extremely important.
This is a conference I definitely will look forward to coming to.
Excellence is the base. That's the base. The goal is exceptionalism.
Anybody that is a business person needs to be here.
For more than 5 decades, we've had your back. Class is in session, and Black Enterprise have everything you need to elevate your excellence.